Yeah, Ross, they do a really good job with their running game, both with their scheme and I think the way they use their personnel. I think their O-line is extremely well coached. They play with a lot of tight ends. And then I think the running back group runs really, really tough and physical. So I've got a ton of respect for James Conner. I think he's one of the underrated backs in the league. He's got a great story, and he's just a really physical player. And then when you factor in Kyler as a part of that equation too, they're very dangerous in that phase. And that's kind of, been the engine of their team the last couple of years. Yeah, I mean, you're adding gaps in the run game and you're adding vertical threats in the passing game. So I think Drew Petzing does a really good job tying it all together, the marriage of the run and the pass. And I think all three of those tight ends complement one another, and it gives them a lot of flexibility with how they play because they all play really different roles but impactful roles for their team. So, they're one of the teams that's unique in that way right now. I think it's based on your personnel, whether you're 4-3 or 3-4, your actual people rushing and how you rush the quarterback. That's the biggest factor. And I think when you're playing a player like Kyler, you're not going to bat a perfect percentage for 4 quarters. So it's really a team operation. It's not just the rushers; it's the coverage players too. And so it's a 60-minute fight against a player like that, and you got to have great stamina. You got to play a lot of people because you want to be fresh in the fourth quarter to be able to rush him at the end when it counts. But yeah, he's one of the premier guys in the league, running the football and making plays outside the pocket.
Can it be hard to find the rest?
Yeah, definitely. You're trying to find the right balance of how to rush them, who to rush them with, and also being really mindful that they've got really good skill players too. So you want to make sure you try to tie your rush and your coverage together and force them to work, make them earn it. And knowing that, he's a really good player. He's going to make plays. Just like in basketball, there's some guys who are going to make shots, no matter how well you cover. So he's going to make some shots, and our guys just got to keep it moving. We got to keep our composure, and we got to try and have our best at the end. Yeah, I mean, we're going to roll with the guys that we have, and it's going to take everybody in that room and every other room too. So we've got guys that are going to be ready to do the job. That's why we've been trying to prepare so hard in camp, to get those guys live looks. And, some of those guys that are role players, having them play against starters in the preseason and stuff like that, that helps them, so that game one isn't the first time they played against, the big-time competition. So it's going to take everybody. And I'm excited about our guys. They do it the right way, and it's going to be a great challenge for us on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I think all the ways that you can rush them, if you can have multiple different, types of rushers, I think that can help you. But again, in theory, they're faster players, but they're also not used to rushing the passer as much as our guys on the edge. So it's how you rush them. And it's everybody. If you are going to decide to rush somebody from, the perimeter or from behind the ball, they've got to rush just like the guys up front, and they've got to have that same type of awareness of the pocket and how he plays and how dangerous he is in the pocket. Yeah, I do. I agree with that 100%. I think about the Dome Patrol, New Orleans, Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson. You have a power rusher in Ricky Jackson with a speed rusher like Pat Swilling. I've been fortunate in the NFL, a Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd, those guys playing together. Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. I think that there's a lot to that. And so, I think if you look at the great combinations, that's certainly, I think, something that you want to have. And I think we have enough versatility here that we can play that way too. And as you mentioned, our guys are accomplished rushers. We've got 3 guys for sure that have, produced at a high level, and Chris has been a veteran in this league for a long time too. And, we have Fidel too, and a couple other guys too that we feel like at least, they fit the description of an edge player. So, yeah, it's one of those, we've come a long way, since playing each other on the basketball court in the 4th grade. So, he's one of the best I know. He means a lot to me, and, I'm just so happy for him, not surprised at all where he is, because I've seen it for a long time. So he's done a hell of a job coaching and leading that football team, and And on Sunday, it's going to be, one of those special moments that we get to share together, but at the same time, we're there to win. So, yeah, I mean, Jonathan's one of the top coaches defensively in the league, but he's not just a defensive coach. I mean, I think the way they play offensively fits, very well with how, he believes in leading a team too. And I think on special teams with Jeff Rogers, who I had the chance to work with, Jay's brother, they're very, very specific on special teams too. So he's just a complete coach. And again, very happy for his success. We've worked together without working together, we both benefited from, just, I think that love for the game. We've always loved the game ever since we were kids. And, to see him go out and do what he's done, to see him, get off to coaching from the beginning. What a lot of people don't know about him is he would never be a coach if he hadn't gotten hurt. He would have been one of the top DBs in the league. He was a hell of a player at Louisville, and that's what a lot of people don't know because he's too humble. But if he had never gotten hurt, he would have been a pro player for a long time, and he probably would never be a pro coach because he'd have made too much money doing that. So, yeah, man, it's just, it's great to have a friend and, somebody that means a lot to you that's doing the same thing you're doing. No, I mean, they got a lot of good coaches on that staff. One of my former players at John Carroll, Matt Feeney's on that staff, who's really important to me. They do a really good job, I think, in all phases of their team coaching. I think Jonathan's put a quality staff together. And I think that you've seen it in how they've played their first 2 years. They've really made a lot of progress. And, I think that he's doing a fantastic job leading that team. All right, guys, take care.